Am I the asshole for leaving early after my girlfriend's kids mocked my name and she brushed it off? I, male 40, have been seeing a woman, female 36, since July. She's fun to hang out with. I have a busy work schedule and she has 2 kids. So we usually get together when she's child-free and I'm not working. She asked me to meet her kids in October, but I told her that I wasn't ready yet. She asked again in November, and I said maybe after the holiday season. On Saturday, I was supposed to go to her place at 5 p.m. When I arrived, her kids were there. I introduced myself. I'm French-Canadian, and my name is common in both French and English. I always introduce myself by saying, "Hi, I'm Sebastian," in the French way. But I tell people that they can call me Sebastian or Seb if they like. The kids, 10 and 12 years old, both girls, started laughing and said, "Sebastian? What a stupid name." They started making fun of my name. I said it's actually French, since I'm French-Canadian. They started laughing even harder. Then their mum came in and said their dad was supposed to pick them up, but he had cancelled, but that it was okay, and we could have a nice, fun family dinner. The kids again said, "Yeah, with Sebastian, ha 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 ha." Their mum smiled and said that they're just kids and laugh at silly things. I felt very uncomfortable. I made an excuse and left within about 15 minutes. Now my girlfriend is mad, saying that I bailed on her and ran away as soon as I saw the kids, like a pathetic coward. Was I an asshole? Did I overreact to the kids' behavior and her brushing it off? The whole thing made me feel really uncomfortable. In the comments, Embarrassed Rose says, "Not your kids, but you do understand if their parents haven't been divorced long, they're probably out to sabotage any relationship, hoping they get back together." OP says, "They've been divorced for 3 years." LeBeurle says, "In the end, it sounds like you're not ready for kids in your life. I would seriously recommend reconsidering your relationship status." OP says, "I'm not ready? If they were my kids, I would have told them to apologize immediately because it's disrespectful to make fun of other people's names and their language. I would have taught my kids manners. Sounds like you let kids walk all over you so that you can hook up with their mom." Individual Bat says, "Introducing you to the kids after 4 months is wild." OP replies, "She said she was a package deal, and it's important to see if her kids like me. I wasn't feeling comfortable yet, so I suggested at least after the holiday season." No Owl says, "So you were basically bullied by a 10 and 12-year-old boy? If a guy can't handle a joke about to your name and runs out the door, probably wasn't the right one for mum anyway, to be honest." OP says, "You really think the solution was engaging in bullying back a bunch of kids?" Look, I've met plenty of French Canadians. Sharp tongues. The girls wouldn't have stood a chance. But after that, neither would your relationship. OP replies, "French Canadians have sharp tongues? Why, because we don't like to be made fun of? Like, no, we don't tolerate bullshit, that's for sure." I love that the OP only ever replies to, the downvoted comments and the people shit-talking him, because it skews the perception of the situation and all the people responding to be, heavily against OP when I feel like most people are on his side. He obviously didn't leave because of the kids here. He left because of how the situation was handled by the adult in the room. Kids test boundaries. That's normal. We're used to kids constantly testing boundaries and testing new people. It's the fact that she brushed it off, smiled along, and then turned that cancelled pickup into a family dinner after he said he wasn't ready to meet them yet. That was the real problem. 2 boundaries crossed in under 15 minutes. I understand why he did what he did. Meeting kids is actually quite a big step, in my personal opinion. I don't think it's such a casual thing. I don't think it is something you spring upon someone. And definitely don't minimize the disrespect when it happens, OP. Especially when it's directed towards your identity, like your name or your culture. I think, at the end of the day, this was just a mismatch. You were uncomfortable and made to do something that you didn't agree to, and her reaction afterwards, calling you pathetic instead of acknowledging how awkward what she did was, confirms that mismatch. I'm with OP on this one. And now, onto the update. So I wasn't planning to post an update, but here it is. Since yesterday, my now ex has spiraled. She sent me like 20 messages in the morning on Instagram saying what a loser I am, that I'm a weak, pathetic pussy, that I would be a terrible stepdad, and that she was planning to have a baby with me. Well, that was news to me because we never even talked about this. And then she deleted all of them. When I checked my phone after my work meeting, she had sent another 20 messages saying how much she misses me, that we could get through this, that we belong to each other, and asking me to call her. I didn't answer. She deleted all of those too, and then sent another million messages swearing at me. Oh, and she deleted those too. She sent new messages and said I was abusive because I gave her the silent treatment. I messaged that I didn't know what was going on, that I was at work, saw all her messages, and then checked my phone again and saw the opposite of her first texts. I said I wanted to give her time to calm down, and then we could talk. She said not to bother, and that she hates me and blocked me, and then she unblocked me. Apparently, she also posted my image in a local "Are We Dating the Same Guy" Facebook group to warn other women about me. My coworker was in that group and showed me. She said that I was emotionally abusive and terrible with kids. At this point, I'm going to take a break from everything and focus on Christmas shopping for my nieces and nephews. Dating in your 40s is something. In the comments, Lost in Nothing Box says, "Never ever get involved with single mums." OP says, "My mum was a single mum. My dad died when I was 4, when she met my stepdad. My stepdad, I call him Dad, is a great guy. My mum always made sure that we are nice and polite to him as he was going above and beyond for us." Count yourself very lucky that she exposed her insanity before getting knocked up. I sure hope that you were using birth control. OP says, "I was, and supposedly she was on pills. My coworker thinks within a few weeks I'll get a message from her claiming that she's pregnant. I really hope not. You should probably defend yourself, unless you don't care about your reputation in your community." OP replies, "The thing is, my coworker is in her 20s, and we are not even close. It would look so weird, a young woman defending a 40-year-old dude. I really don't want her to be involved in my mess." Waffle Dynamics says, 10 and 12 is way too young to be making fun of someone's name. It's way too old to be rude to a guest. Obviously their mother never taught them manners, and on top of that, she's unstable. The trash took itself out. Now I'm wondering about the ex/father due to what happened to OP within those 3. Did he remove himself from the trash and decide when or if he wants to be around them for custody and visitation time? She is a fucking dumpster fire. What is wrong with her? So, this was never about the kids or the name. This is, her lacking emotional regulation and boundaries entirely. That rapid cycling between rage, idealization, insults, the reconciliation attempts, then the accusations, then the blocking and unblocking, and then the public shaming. She is loosey-goosey in the membrane. Especially for such a short relationship where OP genuinely did nothing wrong. Her reaction is fucked. That's not something that OP could have fixed. Like, that was gonna come out eventually. Getting away from her was absolutely the correct move. Saying that OP was abusive for not immediately responding when he's at work, I would judge someone if they didn't think that was a red flag. Also, the reputational damage from that post, I don't know what you do about that. Do we have any ideas, guys? I think he just needs to take screenshots and keep records of this in case something escalates in the future. I don't think we avoid single parents after this as well, but more so pay attention to how people handle stress, rejection, and boundaries very early on in a relationship. I'm glad that she outed herself. Good luck, OP. That does not sound fun. Our next post is by user Brock2845, and it's titled, "Wife 30 female, asked for a break with me 30 male." We've been together since December 2019. We have 2 kids who are 2 and 4. I messed up. I didn't show up enough and took her for granted. I was somewhat controlling on some aspects of our lives. I totally agree. I want to do better, and wham! Break. Anyways, it broke my heart to have that break. I also had to leave for weeks for training. She told me when I got there, but now that I'm doing better, I don't understand the terms and conditions. What I mean is, she insisted. I asked that we remain faithful to one another in sobs, that she wants the right to have sexual intercourse outside of marriage and not owe me a thing. This can go both ways, ... She asked me to show up during the break. She said, you can touch me, kiss me, who knows, maybe we'll even have sex. Does that mean that I have to act like I would had there been no break? I feel like it's contradictory. I don't understand the idea of a break, to be honest. I'm mostly looking for advice on how to navigate this situation. As much as I feel I want to do as she asks, I also feel completely like, we're on a break, I shouldn't do that. I should give her space, despite what she asked. In the comments, Nylon Vest says, reality check. She's not interested in preserving the marriage. She has someone lined up that she wants to have sex with, maybe somebody that she's already having an affair with, maybe it's not physical yet, maybe she wants to bang a whole bunch of people, who knows. But what she is not interested in here is fixing things with you. This is her first step out the door, and I don't think she's interested in coming back. If she does, it's because she couldn't find anything better, not because she really wants to stay. And honestly, I wouldn't trust that she wouldn't still be looking for another better option, even if this break ever ends. There's a good chance that she already has another man in mind, wants to test it out while keeping you as a safety net. Lawyer up. She already has that guy picked out and is gonna fuck him with or without your permission. Then she's gonna say that it's your fault that she went looking elsewhere for sex. Rip your marriage. Whenever someone wants a break and the story makes it to relationship advice or r/marriage, that's it. That's the end of the relationship. If it's that bad that you have to come to the internet for advice, chances are you're just asking for everyone to tell you it's gonna be okay, it's alright to divorce and move on from this person. Because if it was a proper break and you guys could work this one out, the break would have structure and purpose. But you don't know the goal, you don't know the timeline, you don't know what happens at the end of this. And that's intentional. She doesn't want you to know. I'm sure you can ask her directly what the break is meant to accomplish, whether reconciliation is actually on the table, how long it all lasts, what boundaries exist for both of you. You can do that, but I don't know, man. I don't see this marriage lasting after such a nasty time with her, that's for sure. And now, on to the update. Well, I came home this weekend. I got my kids at my in-laws, did their routine, and they went to sleep. Wife was at a work party, allegedly. We were in the process of moving, so I expected a lot of clutter and boxes. There was. What I didn't expect was how everything looked like it had been abandoned very quickly and messily. Not complaining here, it just looked eerie, like how some movies show homes where people left in a hurry in war zones. Trash bins overflowing, meat packages that had been, by the smell of it, left in the bin a while. Dog looking like he'd been left a long time alone. I came home at around 7:30. Everything looked weird. The hair straightener left on the toilet sink, unplugged, thank God, and hemorrhoid meds between the toilet sinks. I'll come back to that. Anyways, I'm not complaining here. I'm just trying to demonstrate what I saw in a few minutes of coming home and putting the kids to sleep. So I started taking the trash out, and when I'm tired, which I am both because of training and lack of sleep because of break, my hands get wet and slippery and I get clumsy. I dropped the bag in our room on the ground. Lots and lots of facial tissues came out, which would be weird. She never seemed like she had a cold when we spoke. Then, there was one which looked like it had poop and grease on it, hemorrhoid meds. Again, everything looked like the house was uninhabited, and I left in a hurry. That smelled in our room. Now, my wife gets hemorrhoids sometimes when she's not prepared for backdoor activities. I'm trying to be PG to not be flagged, and she'll put the medication straight on the towel that we'd put on our bed to avoid accidents. So this was not proof, but worrisome. So I took the other papers and took everything back in the bag. Almost. There was a pharmacy bill torn in pieces, quite high for our usual needs. We have no regular prescriptions, and a medication that gave me every single detail that I needed to know about. Plan B. Bought on November 30th, paid for the day that she asked for the break. I texted her and asked what that meant. I honestly didn't even feel anger. Despair was what got to me. I fell to my knees. She only answered, "Okay, wow, not coming back tonight. See you tomorrow." The next morning, I got the kids up and went to a friend's place. Our kids played together, we spoke, and I came back home for the nap. I wanted to talk to my wife. She kept refusing. She kept trying to delay. She went to a friend's place and said that she would be there in time for the nap. She still delayed, saying that she would come, but she was eating lunch, and then needed to help our friend with something, etc. I had time to clean what had been left behind. The toilets were filthy, the bath had been grimy from a sort of bath salt that had been bought at a sex shop, the sink had residue caked on it. When she finally got there, she was more belligerent than ever. Arrogant answers, telling me how irresponsible I was. I chose to leave. She berated me on how much I had left for her training for the kids and was still leaving her with them. I agree. However, if they hadn't been napping, I'd have taken them with me. The next morning, I came home again. We spoke for hours. At first, she wouldn't even admit her cheating on me. She said the morning after pill could be for someone else, you don't know. She kept circling around what I knew to be true. When she started being more truthful, she admitted everything, before refusing to admit a single thing. She was obviously uncomfortable with what I knew, uncomfortable with admitting adultery. At some point, I said the word that we both knew was coming. Divorce. She cried. A lot. She apologized for her actions. I maintained my position. We are divorcing. As a rhetorical question, I was sure of her answer at this point, I asked, "Okay, let's say that we try to mend things between us. Would you agree to never speak to this guy?" The guy was a close friend to her before they got to friends with benefits stage, and they're falling out of it. She didn't answer. She just lowered her eyes. This was the answer. I packed a few things for our move, and for my training, I had lunch with the kids and then put them to sleep for their nap. She tried to do the dishes and kept crying. I got out, brought the things for our move. She called me and seemed happier. We spoke for 45 minutes, until I asked for an adultery divorce. In Canada, it makes the divorce almost immediate versus a year for a regular one. I felt her voice change. She lied again. She said she was worried that someone would look at the marriage registry. False. It's not public. I insisted calmly. She started raising her voice and getting erratic. I recorded this part of the call. I was feeling threatened by the way that she was talking to me. At some point, she denied her adultery. She said that I had been cheating on her for 2 years with my friend, who let me sleep at her place. I supported my friend during her separation, and she's helping me through mine. Nothing ever happened between us. The phone told her that I was recording. She started threatening me to put my things in the trash or on the street, and that I'd come to get them when I could. By the end, she once again cried. She's terrified of paying me alimony because my salary isn't good at all for the moment. As long as I train, I'm almost not paid, and my previous job paid $40,000 less than hers. I honestly don't understand her anymore. She's acting like everyone she kept judging for their separation, not admitting cheating, not wanting to. I don't want to get back with her. I just want a transparent relationship as co-parents. If it goes well, we could be friends, but she keeps lying to me. We had scheduled couples therapy before I said I wanted a divorce. I don't feel like it helped or will help. I'm looking for resources to help me/us navigate our separation in a more respectful way. I'll be meeting a psychologist on the 22nd. In the comments, King Thunderflash says, contact a lawyer. Get a DNA test done along with an STD test. Document everything. Only contact her through an app so every communication with her is documented. OP says, STD test is coming soon. I had wanted sooner, but I just don't have time. DNA testing is something that I didn't think about. I'm trying my best to speak to her through recorded means of communication. She sounds like she's being defensive, possibly because she doesn't want the humiliation of being confronted with her actions. You are trying to be rational, she is not ready to be by the sound of it. You may well want to do as much as you can through mediation in order to impose ground rules, which may make her kick off, but she's probably going to anyway. What advice are you looking for? OP says, I'm looking for anything that could help me, her, or us have a respectful relationship for the good of our children. I have a meeting booked with a therapist, but is there anything more that I or we could do to benefit the kids? Stop talking to each other? Actually having family dinners together? I don't know how I can limit the impact on the kids, especially since we were in the process of moving to our new house. This year won't be the best for them. Intelligent Reed replies to OP, divorce lawyer. Get one and have them handle everything. A bit of separation now to stop resentment. Damn, OP. That was, a lot. I think we answered the questions surrounding the break. There was a lot of, lying, delays, denial, flip-flopping, accusations. Yeah, your marriage is done completely. Pretty sad that the one boundary you asked for that would show that she actually has any accountability at all, cutting contact, she couldn't give you a straight answer. I think that tells you everything you need to hear. You just gotta take the advice of the comments there and document everything, get legal advice, protect yourself, and protect the kids. This is gonna be incredibly rough going forward. You are doing the hardest part already, getting out of there ASAP. I hope you get some therapy because I think it will help. And it will help you not to second-guess your decision of leaving her ass. You didn't blow up this marriage, she did. This is all her fault. Please never blame yourself. Thank you for the story and thank you for the update. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!